Muslim. People love saying Muslim. It's Muslim. My name is Khadijah.
My name is Soraya.
I'm Tasneem.
My name is Tom.
My name is Umar Hakim.
And I'm a Muslim.
And I'm a Muslim.
And I'm a Muslim.
That one's a myth.
That's a myth.
That's false.
For example, I'm a white guy from Wisconsin.
I come from Southeast Asia, which has the largest Muslim population in the world.
I'm black and I'm from America.
When they chose to enslave Africans, over 40% were Muslim, brought here to the shores of America.
Also, not all Arabs are Muslim. Myth.
False.
That is false. When I was young, my mom gave me a choice. I cover my hair when I pray. I cover my hair, when it's time to do specific things. But other than that, I'm out here. My hair is out.
I have an older sister. She chose to wear the headscarf. I chose not to.
I interpret how I wear my hijab by wearing a turban instead of a traditional way of wearing a hijab based on how other Malaysian Muslims would wear them. As a Muslim woman, for me, wearing the hijab gives me a sense of comfort.
The main intention is not to be objectified, to say, hey, look at me for who I am as a person and not because of my hair or this and that.
I'm sorry.
Myth.
That is a myth.
If you look at the statistics, more crimes and more incidents has been perpetrated by white men here in the United States.
The white guy aspect of my identity is the part that you should be generalizing about me as committing domestic acts of terrorism, because that's the demographic that's most likely to commit mass shootings or on an everyday basis to terrorize people.
I'm a descendant of somebody who was brought here. I cannot trace my roots back. All I know is that my family line stops and begins in the South. So if you want to talk about the only acts of terror in America are started with 9/11, you're about 400 years too late.
That's a myth.
That is a myth.
That's a myth.
For you to be a Muslim, you have to believe in the Prophet Jesus. Like, you have more mention of the Prophet Jesus than you would find the name of Prophet Muhammad in the Quran.
I believe in Jesus, and I believe in Jesus because of what I have read in the Quran.
Jesus was an integral part of receiving Allah's word. We do not hold Jesus in the same regard as a lot of people as the Son of God, but he is considered a prophet.
I don't even know where to start with that one.
Oh, that's a myth.
That's a myth.
I'm in a interfaith marriage. My wife's Christian, my parents are Christian, and we all get along great. For example, at our wedding, we had a Christian priest and a Muslim imam marry us, and when we tell people that, they ask her, like, oh, you're Muslim then? She's like, no, this guy is Muslim.
Allah knows that there's going to be different people from different backgrounds. And so it is our job to have respect and love for one another regardless of what our backgrounds are. That's straight from the book.
We created you from a male and female into different nations and tribes so that ye may get to know one another. And I think that's what we're all about.
You can't just walk up to a Muslim girl and start spitting game or something. What am I supposed to say? Hey, can I get your father's number?
That can be true or false. It really depends on what your traditions or your background is.
You are allowed to socialize with your counterpart, but with an escort or what you call a wali or a protector. My wife is Muslim. She's gonna see this, so, oh man. No, that's not how we met. Oh my, she gonna kill me.
Myth, to my understanding.
That's a myth.
I'm gonna say that's a myth. At least in the African American community, that's a myth.
I did not get arranged when I married my husband. I feel like that's also a cultural thing that depends on where you come from.
My wife was not arranged to be married to me. In fact, we met on OkCupid, and I have the best wife ever. Just want to put that on record. She's amazing, but it's not an arranged marriage.
False.
Total myth.
That is a myth.
From an American standpoint, the whole situation is misunderstood. Sharia law is not radical.
I feel that the fact that the word Sharia is Arabic causes a lot of misconception already. Sharia just refers to how you practice Islam in a certain way, like whether you can eat pork or not pork, whether you can drink alcohol or not alcohol. Those are things that you have in Islam that provides the framework of how you practice Islam.
And I don't see any reason why it is un-American or needs to be adopted by the American Constitution or anything like that.
I just hope people take the time to really investigate the untruths that surround them instead of going by what's on Twitter or going by some of this fake news that's going around.
That is a myth.
Myth.
And that one hurts. That one hurts.
Islam is a religion that means peace. If you look in the Quran itself, like you won't find violence in the sense of how it's been twisted right now.
Violence being done in the name of Islam is real. And that hurts me more as a Muslim than I would imagine it hurts people who are not Muslim. I remember when 9/11 happened, I was in high school, and in my head for days and days, I had like this broken record of all the things I knew about Islam that talk about peace.
It's very funny to me that people tend to put violence on Islam based on what they see, but they don't talk about Christianity and the Crusade or even what was done to slaves in the South. If we're gonna talk about religions being violent, we need to talk about it across the board and what people did, quote unquote, in the name of God.
Myth.
Well, that is true.
For me, it's false. For them, it is true.
If ISIS members was Muslim, by the Sharia law, they wouldn't go through the protocols of war the way that they do. Because in the protocols of war, the Muslim is not to harm the woman or the man. If you capture someone, you're not supposed to mistreat them. You're supposed to give them the best treatment possible. So that's a major myth.
So they claim that they are Muslim, but in terms of how I practice Islam, or 99.9% of Muslims practice Islam, to us, that is not what Islam looks like.
ISIS people call themselves Muslim. That's between them and God, but I will also not let that taint my identity as a Muslim or take anything away from what it means to me to be Muslim.
I'm trying not to get emotional. I love what it does for me as a person. I love that it speaks to the most innate a part of my being a kind individual. There's a hadith in the Quran, and it says, when you go places, you meet people, and you find things, you leave them better than you found them. And I feel that my faith allows me to fulfill that purpose in its entirety.
Everywhere in our religion, there's this gentleness. Even the way we pray, people sometimes mistake it for yoga because it's just such a flowing, gentle way of submitting to God and connecting to the earth.
Hashtag so cool to be Muslim, for one. I love about my faith the way it transforms a person stuck in the dark and bring them into the light.
I love the fact that women have a elevated status in Islam. Prophet Muhammad said, like, you should love your mother, and then your mother, and then your mother, and after that, your father. As a mother, I can't tell you enough how I love that, because I have 4 boys. Just gives me sort of like a card, like, you should love your mother. That's the path for you to go to Jannah, paradise. So
My favorite part of being Muslim is my relationship with God. When I was young, my mom told me, make God your best friend. That has really stayed with me and has been the cornerstone of my faith.
When people make comments about my faith without realizing that that's something that I'm a part of, I'm just like, oh, really? Tell me more. Tell me more. Well, you know, the Muslims, they be out here doing it. And I was like, did you know I'm Muslim? And then the look on their face, well, I would have never guessed that. You don't look like it. And what is Muslim supposed to look like?
When people realize that I am Muslim, they do express surprise. Oh, you're a Muslim and you're like this, like as if, you know, and then I somehow become the exception to what they think Muslims are. So even though they meet me and it breaks whatever stereotype, it doesn't go deep enough to say, okay, maybe all Muslims are different. You know what? You shouldn't be talking about all Muslims, all people, all men or women anyways.
When videos where Muslims try to come on camera to humanize ourselves, where we then erase all of the rough edges and make it sound like, oh, I'm not mad, I'm just your friendly neighbor. Like, no, we are mad and we are upset. It's tiring and it's taxing to try to just get us to that minimum level of respect, to have to one relationship at a time humanize this thing that people see as the root cause of the problems in our country. At the same time, I've seen how people who thought Muslims were the devil or were terrible people, how one conversation changed their whole perspective, and from that they became allies. I hold those dichotomies in place at the same time, that yes, we as Muslims shouldn't have to come on here and try to humanize ourselves to people, and at the same time I feel it's my responsibility, and so here we are.
My religion is not to prove or perform for you at all. My religion is my moral compass, and it is how I navigate the world. I get up every day doing the best I can, giving complete gratitude and doing what I can to leave people better than I found them. That should say more than enough about the faith itself and what it does for me.